Here's something I'm passionate about. Brad Pitt. Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling, craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones.
Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm not sure I'm going to drink beer with a mask on.
Why do you still have a mask on?
I don't know. I'm just used to it, I guess. I'm Brian, by the way.
Okay.
I'm Dolan. I was gonna say I think we're all pretty used to it now.
Yeah,
right?
I guess so. I mean, you can if you want.
There, that feels better.
Double pop filter,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well,
We got a special guest today who brought the beers for us. She's from HR. I'm concerned that Brad may have sent her. Actually, I don't believe that's the case at all. Laura, please introduce yourself.
I'm Laura Behm, and HR generalist at Atlas.
And you enjoy beer as well.
Yes.
And your husband does too, right?
Yes, and he's dabbled in the make your beer at
oh
home.
boy.
Yeah.
The home
Better watch
brewery.
out. He's going to be starting a brewery soon.
Yeah.
If he's
Yeah.
learned anything on this show.
This is how it works.
Every kid in the family gets a beer, so.
Well, I guess you got to start them young, right? I mean, I suppose.
Yes.
So beers this week, Laura. I was so excited when you brought this in because I haven't had these because of stupid COVID. I would normally go to this brewery at least once a year. From Free State Brewing in Lawrence, Kansas, we have Ad Astra Amber Ale. That's a lot of A's.
It is.
A lot. Alliteration.
One of my favorite things.
You like that. Free State Brewing is located at 636 Mass Street. So if you're from Lawrence, Mass is short for Massachusetts.
Oh. Massachusetts is hard to spell, so
It
I
is.
get why they do.
And it's long. So
Yeah.
it's just Mass Street. This is how pretentious Lawrence, Kansas is.
Oh.
And I say that because I love it there.
Okay.
And it's okay to say that.
Yeah.
Their streets, they have numbered streets going one way and then name streets going the other way. Going the other way are all states. So
Okay.
it starts with the original 13 and it doesn't go in alphabetical order, it goes in the order that they were admitted to the union.
Nice.
So that's how they go. So for a while there I could tell you I can't anymore. It's been a long time. But
Learned some history there.
right? Exactly. So it seems kind of pretentious though, doesn't it?
Maybe. I don't know. You got to figure out how you're getting places around, I guess. So.
Ooh, I guess. This is the very first beer that we've done from Kansas.
Ever?
Ever.
What?
Really?
Yes.
Cool. Check
Awesome.
it off.
I checked the spreadsheet.
Huh.
Yeah. I checked the spreadsheet.
It's a neighboring state.
Okay,
We've
here's
had a million from Kansas City, but
well, Boulevard,
Yeah.
right? But that's Missouri.
yeah.
So Boulevard, Crane. Who else we've done? We've done another Kansas City.
Yeah.
So
We've had a few.
by 2019, the Brewers Association ranked Kansas 32nd in the number of craft breweries per capita, which, okay, so population on the Kansas side, maybe not so much. And then 59, and then 34th overall. So out of the 50 states, they are ranked 34th in number of craft breweries. So not a craft brewery destination, maybe.
Isn't there some weird liquor law situation in Kansas still?
Well, you can't buy on Sundays.
Well, it's like 3-2 beer.
3-2 in grocery stores.
Yeah, see? Craft breweries don't want to mess with that.
No. You got to go to liquor stores if you want to buy actual beer.
So weird.
Well, that's Kansas.
That's why you bring your own. Don't tell anybody I said that.
So this was Free State was the first craft brewery I ever saw. Ever.
They're an OG. They've been around a long time.
1989.
Yeah.
I saw them for the first time in 1992 and did not understand what it was. No idea. Had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
So, and that's always stuck with me. Laura, how did you get these? Where did they come from?
So my father-in-law got my husband the the beer of the month club.
Oh.
So for 3 months, starting in February, he gets about, I think it's 8 to 12 beers every
Per month. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I got a wine of the month club. So
Oh.
Nice.
I get 3 bottles of wine every month.
3 bottles of wine, I think, would be more than 8 to 12 beers, right?
Yeah,
Maybe?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a better deal.
I'm pretty sure I could polish off 8 beers in a night. If
Oh,
I
yeah.
drank 3 bottles of wine, the
No,
next day would
you'd be
be
dead.
rough.
Yeah, half a bottle of wine for me.
Yes.
Yeah, I have quite a few bottles of wine. I said to my husband, I'm like, we need to have some people over, drink some wine.
Well, we're not doing anything this afternoon, so I mean, we could.
We'll
Bring
see
in
what
a bottle.
happens.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Founded in 1989 by Chuck Mag Earl.
McGurl.
McGurl?
Sorry, Chuck.
Sorry, Chuck. Magerl. He founded Free State. It was the first legal brewery in Kansas in over 100 years.
Wow.
Wow.
I like that you said legal.
Legal.
Yeah.
Well, you
That
know,
means there are some other ones out there. Sketch.
it's very. It actually came from the Free State website. It actually said legal on there,
okay.
so they absolutely acknowledged it. This beer, Ad Astra Ale, was the first beer they ever brewed when they opened. This was their very first beer and has been a staple ever since.
Yeah, that jives with what was happening back in the 80s home beer scene. So
Amber, right? I mean,
Yep.
this is as malty and sweet and delicious as you could get out of an amber
yeah,
ale.
it tastes pretty good, by the way.
It
Yeah.
really does.
It is good.
Yeah. So Chuck entry into business started off in his grandfather's butcher shop way back in the day. So he was working in his grandpa's butcher shop and kind of learned the ins and outs of business. He was in Kansas City, meatpacking, small west side of Kansas City. Grew up there, and he would help along, go on delivery runs, that type of thing. And that background explains why he went to the University of Kansas and then decided to abandon his pre-med program.
Wise choice.
Right?
Yeah.
I guess. And he established and this is where it gets interesting, because this is also very Lawrence, too. He established the Community Mercantile Grocery in Lawrence, where he remained as part of the management collective for a decade. The store's efforts were focused on establishing an alternative food network, linking regional co-op warehouses, seeking local suppliers, some of whom were part of the Back to the Land movement. So very
Organic.
granola.
Sounds like hippies.
Yeah.
That's Lawrence, though.
Yeah.
Granola.
That's Lawrence. Look, and I can say all that
Yeah.
because I lived there. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it, and still do to this day.
I've never been there.
You've never been to Lawrence,
No.
Kansas?
I haven't either.
What? What?
Dolan?
Dolan?
Nope.
You've never played a show there?
No.
I'm going to tell you 2 stories about Lawrence, and then I will be done here, because
Oh,
I could talk
wow.
about Lawrence for hours and hours. Here are my 2 stories.
Oh, okay.
You want me to tell them now?
Yeah, sure.
I can wait. No,
Well, let me do this real quick.
you do yours.
Well, I just want to get a little more Free State info. There's seasonals. This is where I've had. So sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
every once in a while, I get a hankering to do a little beer run across the river, right?
Okay.
In Council Bluffs, they have Free State.
They distribute to Council Bluffs?
They used to, at least, I
Okay.
know. So some of these I've had before. These are their seasonals, so not all the time. This is usually where you get the fun stuff, right? So they have a breakaway IPA, which is like their, I would almost call it like a summer IPA. Cloud Hopper is another one that maybe you've heard of. That's a double or imperial. Frost Flower Pilsner, which you'd probably be into since you're kind of back in the Pilsner game.
Sure.
This one I really enjoy. Iron Man Imperial Stout. So it's just a straight up, almost like an oatmeal stout.
Oh.
Very roasty. There's no, vanilla or flavorings in it. It's just
Yep.
an old school strong stout, which is tasty.
Okay.
And then Old Bacchus barley wine, which is in a 6-pack, which is great.
Old Bacchus.
Yeah. So not very often do you find barley wines in a 6-pack. So they make one.
What's the? I'm thinking of a show where they, instead of breakfast, they're like breakfast. Breakfast.
I have no idea.
I don't know either, but
Rick and
man.
Morty? Are you Rick and Morty?
Sounds
I don't know.
great.
I'm gonna look it up.
here's their tap list currently. This was updated like 4 days ago.
I'm going to want to go there as soon as you say. Okay, go ahead.
Tick Talk, Talk, Pilsner.
Yes.
They have their lager, Guavatas. So it's
Oh.
right.
Yeah, I
Pun.
like that name.
It's a sour with guava.
Yummy.
I'd probably like that.
Yakamaniac IPA. I've had that one before. With Yakima hops.
Yes.
And this guy has kind of like reminiscent of the tearjerker or whatever beer we did with the head kind of exploding because he's got hops coming out of his brain.
Yeah.
They have a Marzen on right now, which I don't know where you else would get a Marzen, but there
Now?
you go.
Right
yeah,
now?
as a few days ago.
It's April.
Yeah,
right, Nolan?
Hellsbach. These are just these are old school styles that
Pay attention.
in the 80s would have been
Yeah.
popular. Storm Chaser IPA.
The Storm Chasers? The Omaha
Like
Storm
from the-
Chasers?
Yeah.
No,
No. Oh.
a lot of their Kansas is in the. They don't want you to call it Tornado Alley anymore. I've learned
Why?
because that makes people think that they can't. You won't get a tornado outside of the alley.
That's stupid.
So
That's
they
just-
don't
that's-
they don't want to use that anymore. We're getting woke, weather woke. Add Astra, which we are consuming, the oatmeal stout,
Yeah.
which we've talked about a little bit, and then Copperhead Pale Ale, which is another old school staple of theirs.
The last beer that I had when I was there 2 years ago, before we went to the Kansas game, was the Copperhead, and it's
Nice.
really good. It's very coppery looking. So
And then I have one more little thing about the brewery,
yeah.
the Kansas State motto. Do you know it?
Oh,
Is it tattooed on your arm?
it's on the seal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
can tell you what it means.
That's where it comes from. Well, tell us.
Add astra per aspera
There you go.
to the stars through difficulties.
Boom. Right? Almost like you read my notes, but it was from your brain.
Yeah. Went to school there, man.
good job.
I mean, that's what they taught you in elementary school.
I'm like looking at the bottle to make sure he's not reading it off of there.
No, he can't see that far. There's no way.
No.
Northern Brewer and Fuggles hops. Fuggles, which I've never heard of. Fuggles.
I'm actually pouring more beer here. Fuggles.
Yes. 31 IBUs, so
Okay.
moderate, about what you'd expect.
Okay.
Had 6 different kinds of malts in this beer. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I guess you can kind of, yeah.
So there you go. There's my little beer.
Maybe Fuggles
Info.
was popular in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
I've never heard of Fuggles.
Me either.
No, I wish I had.
Next time we talk to our brewery friends, we'll ask them if they've ever used Fuggles hops.
We'll just drop that word and see what they say. If they know what's up.
Consider doing a beer with Fuggles hops?
I'm like, what? Yeah, dude, that's old school.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Stop hop dropping.
Yeah, name dropping. Hops. Do that all day. All right, let's hear a story
Okay.
from Lawrence, Kansas.
Lawrence, Kansas days. Okay, so as
What
much
was the name of the club there? It was a big popular.
the Bottleneck.
There you go.
Okay.
I knew that.
So back in the day, there was two: the Bottleneck and the Granada. So the
Yeah.
Granada is down the street. It was a little more artsy. So as much as back in the day, you could see Pearl Jam, Nirvana, that type of like early '90s
Yeah.
grunge there.
The Pumpkins.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Down the street at the Granada, you would see it was a more artsy, and it was an old movie theater.
Okay.
So that would be like if The Cure would come to town, or that type of those types of bands.
Okay.
So way more artsy would play at the Granada down the street. I can count on one hand with 2 fingers the number of times I was at the Granada.
Oh.
We went to the Bottleneck every night, no matter what. We would go there.
Was there music every night? Pretty much.
Virtually every night,
Yeah.
yeah. So we saw any number of different bands, and I think I've told you both the story outside of this. So it's still my best concert experience of all time because the stage isn't very big. It's a very small venue, but it was the place that everybody would go. Like that's where you would go, kind of like here in Omaha with the Ranch Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? You would, if you were an up and coming band, you played the Ranch Bowl.
Sure.
If you're going through Kansas, you were going to Kansas City, Wichita, whatever, you played at the Bottleneck. Like that's just what you did. So we were sitting in there one night, and there wasn't supposed to be a band, and I'll take you a step backwards. We didn't like to pay covers because we didn't have much money. We were college kids, right? So we didn't like to pay cover fee. So we would walk through the alley and kind of just walk really slow, and then like just help pick up equipment and walk it in as the band was. And most of those bands didn't have roadies at the time, like they didn't, or whatever. So we would just help them unload all their equipment, and they'd be like, "Okay, thanks," and then we would be in, and that's it. Like we'd be in. And that stopped working about the time of the Smashing Pumpkins. Billy said, "Put our stuff down," and actually told us to. After he was sitting on a dumpster reading a Spider-Man comic, he gave us some autographs, and then we went to pick up his stuff, and he was like, "Put that down." don't do that. And then he just let us in.
Oh, nice.
So, but he did, you don't have to pick up the stuff. He knew what we were doing. So one night there wasn't a band, so there was no cover. So we were just sitting in there drinking, and all of a sudden, back door opens up, a band starts unloading all their equipment. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And my roommate at the time, Brian Schmidt, he was fearless. He was like 6'4", 6'5", 275, 300. Like, he had hair like Chewbacca. He was in the military for 3 years, so he still wore the military birth control glasses.
Oh, yeah,
the really
BCs.
thick. Yeah.
Yep.
He had no fear whatsoever. So he walked back there, and he was like, hey, you guys need a hand? And they're like, no, we got this. And he came back, and his eyes were like freaking huge. We're like, what? And he goes, this is Dave Grohl. Like, and the Foo Fighters.
What?
The Foo Fighters walked in, and this is right after their first album came out. Just walked in, set up all their equipment, and Dave Grohl got on the mic, and he's like, hey, we're playing at Kemper Arena tomorrow night. We need a warm-up, so we're going to play it right now. And they started playing.
That's
and
pretty great.
it was unbelievable. And here's the thing. This was before cell phones. In 10 minutes, the place was full.
Jeez.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
There was a line for the payphone. Hey, get down here. Right? And, yeah. One of my best Lawrence experiences of all time.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's
Just awesome. So
I bet it was loud. Because it's loud in a stadium when you see those guys. So
I have hearing damage because of the place, probably. I mean, that's my ears ring all the time because of
Yeah.
the number of concerts that we saw
tinnitus.
at that
happens.
place. So, yeah, the Bottleneck, the Granada, the Wheel, the Jayhawker. All these the bars downtown that we went to. There's a Mexican place that really doesn't have great Mexican food, but everybody went to it. It's called the Salty Iguana.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It sounds like a college town.
It's totally a college
Yeah.
town. Wow. But then there was this a pizza place called Gumby's Pizza.
Okay, you got me.
Yeah. And their pizza was not good,
gummy.
but it was $5
For a whole pizza?
for a whole pizza. And they gave you a side of ranch with every one of them. $5.
There you go.
I'd give them $6 and they could keep the ranch.
It was fantastic.
What?
Weirdo.
You don't like ranch?
No,
What?
Oh, no.
What is Brian's deal with condiments?
I don't know.
not a fan.
All right, so that's my Lawrence experience. That's what it was outside of Allen Fieldhouse. Even if you're not a Jayhawk fan, like Allen Fieldhouse is one of those places you should go watch a college basketball game.
They ever have the tournament there? Games like rounds of tournament?
It's not big enough. Lawrence isn't
That's
big
kind of
enough.
what I figured.
No.
They need a bigger, but that'd be fun, huh?
No. Hey, now if they did a thing like this past year,
Yeah, where there was nobody in the stands.
Right.
Yeah, wouldn't that have been cool?
Here's the thing: like you have to be there when it's just packed.
Yeah.
And it's so loud you can't hear yourself, and it's like you're at a concert and everybody's jumping up and down, and it's like the whole place is moving. I don't know how they play basketball, quite honestly. It's so loud, and you're just right on top of them.
Like when you're at the Civic here.
Like the old, when
Yeah.
you were just like right on top of them. Yep, same thing.
I feel the passion, which is good. Here's something I'm passionate about. Brad Pitt. I've already talked about him once.
Why?
Well, here's mention number 2. He was in a movie
God, that movie was so bad.
called Ad Astra.
Yes.
I've never seen it.
Don't.
That seems to be the consensus on the internet.
It could have been so good.
Starred and produced the movie in 2019, so it was a recent film. The director and writer was James Gray, and he made a movie that was called The Lost City of Z. Now, that was an adaptation of a book that I read and I really, really liked, and it was about this like British, I'd call him an archaeologist, like a Indiana Jones type.
Okay.
And he went to, I think it was in like the rainforest, maybe it was Peru or something like that, and he was looking for this lost city, like maybe Inca,
Okay.
and it supposedly had all this treasure, which was a real thing that happened like in 1905.
Okay.
And the British government funded this study, and it's just a whole thing about how everything went wrong, and basically everybody died. And the guy from, is Charlie Hunnam a name? Is that somebody?
I don't know.
He was on some motorcycle show people liked a few years ago.
Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, he was on that.
Oh.
He was
Yeah.
Jax.
Yep.
So that guy is in this movie, this other one I'm talking about.
Not Ad Astra.
Right. But that movie is what gets him in the door to make Ad Astra.
Isn't that like a zombie movie?
No.
The Last City of Z?
I think you're thinking of World War Z.
Oh.
Which is also Brad Pitt.
And wasn't terrible.
I wasn't a fan of the Fast Zombie.
I like Fast Zombies.
I'm not
I
a
didn't
fan.
creepy.
like how they climbed the wall. Like that was
Like a human ladder.
They climbed each other.
It was creepy.
I know, but that was just weird.
It was good. I
It
liked
was
it.
weird.
It was like Human Centipede, but it was like Human Ladder.
It was
Gross.
better.
Not a comparison at all.
Right?
Oh, HR.
Weird.
Who else is in this movie? Well, your favorite and mine, Tommy Lee Jones.
I enjoy some time.
You meet a cranky old guy. He's the one to go to. Liv Tyler. Donald Sutherland, another old man who's been in lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Animal House was the first time I ever saw him, by the way. And Natasha Lyonne, who I enjoy tremendously.
That was his wife, yes?
Who?
Natasha Lee.
I don't think so. I've never seen it. I don't know.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you. It cost about $100 million to make this movie because they wanted it to be the most realistic space/travel movie ever made, right?
All right, let me tell you how unrealistic it was. At one point,
Oh, boy.
oh God, this is so bad. At one point, he rides a piece of metal like a surfboard almost across the rings of Uranus or Saturn or wherever it is.
Uranus.
Uranus. I think it's Saturn, quite
Saturn,
honestly.
I'm pretty sure.
I think it's Saturn. He rides a piece of metal.
Silver Surfer. Anyway, it got 83% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know how that is.
It
Probably just
grossed.
because Brad Pitt.
It probably.
Yeah.
It grossed 135 million. So technically, it made money.
I don't know how that's
But they
possible.
say it's a bomb, box office bomb. And the one that I talked about earlier, Lost City of Z, that was also a bomb. So I'm not sure if James Gray gets to make another movie or not. It was nominated for an Oscar for Best Sound Mixing.
Oh, yeah, well, there you go.
And it opened with $19 million on the first weekend. It came in second to Downton Abbey, the movie. And that's what I know about that movie. There you go.
Boy. Look, I'm going to tell you that the beer is 1,000 times better than the movie. 100,000 times better.
Wow, that must have been a stinker. Well, here's what my real research is. When I hear this name, we got some over here.
Oh, there's a little bit left, yeah. Yeah.
You guys went too fast over there. We're gonna drink some more of
No,
this.
Rich,
over
you
here.
can finish this off here.
Okay.
Ad Astra. When you say it fast in my brain, this is how my brain works. I hear Ed Asner. So we're going to do a little Ed Asner research walk.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guess what? He was born in 1929. He's still alive.
He's still alive?
Oh, yeah.
He's got to be old, though.
He's still making movies and stuff. He was born in Kansas City, Missouri. Did not know.
That's close.
It is close. It's close to Kansas.
Yeah.
Just over the border.
That's not that far from Lawrence.
He was, for a while, like a long time, like in the 70s and 80s, he was the president of the Screen Actors Guild.
Okay.
So SAG. So he was in charge of basically like the union stuff. He took big pride in that, making sure everybody had insurance and stuff. That was one of his big goals in life, was to make sure everybody working on a movie had coverage and protection.
Sure.
He's probably most known for his character Lou Grant, which was first in the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yep.
Then it spun off in the late 70s, early 80s for like 8 years, which I didn't know. And it was a really popular show. It was like in the top 10 of TV shows at the time when it got canceled.
Really?
And they say it got canceled, he says, because he was helping with some sort of like SAG strike that happened in the early 80s. And they're like, okay, well, you got to go.
See ya.
So he won an Emmy, I believe it was, for Roots. He was in Roots.
With Geordie LaForge.
Yes.
I can't think of his Reading Rainbow.
LeVar
Burton.
Yes.
There we go.
So he was like a slave ship captain who felt bad about what he was doing, but not bad enough to not drive the boat.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So he won something
Look,
for
you
that.
still needed to get paid.
Yes, back then. That's how he did it. He also was Santa in Elf. If you've seen Elf,
Yes.
he plays Santa. In fact, I saw something that said he's played Santa like 8 or 9 times. in different things.
In different movies? Mm-hmm. I can see that.
And then another thing he's popular for, he's a very well-known voice actor. And maybe you don't know this.
No.
He plays the voice of the old man in Up, Carl Fredricksen. So if you've ever seen that Disney movie.
I did not know that was his... No.
Yeah, boy, that's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
That first
Yeah,
few
it is.
20 minutes of that one. This is your wheelhouse. I wrote down basically cartoons.
Okay.
From the mid-90s to current.
Oh.
Here's the voices. He was the voice of J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man from 94 to 98.
Spider-Man the Animated Series, yeah.
Hudson on Gargoyles, 94 to 96.
I was familiar. I never really watched it.
How about this one? Hoggish Greedley. Does that sound like a bad guy?
I guess so, yeah.
He was a villain on Captain Planet, 90 to 95.
Hoggish.
This one I'd never heard of. There was a radio broadcast of Star Wars, like a play. He
Yeah.
played Jabba the Hutt.
Yes, he did.
There you go.
Yes.
So
I did
he
know
knew
that.
this. I did not. I didn't know that was a thing.
So I sadly still I have audio cassettes of that.
Of course you do. Master Vrook. Maybe I'm saying that right. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, from the video game?
Yes.
Interesting.
Roland Daggett. Batman the Animated Series.
That sounds, yeah.
And then Ed Wunkler. Sounds like Unkler or looks like Unkler. 2005 to 2014 on the Boondocks, which I think is coming back again.
I'm sure you know the Boondocks.
Yeah, it's Comedy Central show.
I think I have. Is it like the dad and the kid, and then there's like karate and stuff happening, martial arts?
I think you're thinking of the Squidbillies.
Or Samurai Jack. I don't know. You're thinking of something.
No.
No, you might be right. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Now
Yeah.
that I think about it.
I think you might be
yes.
right.
Like he's like really good at martial arts, and the kid is always kicking somebody's butt.
I think so. That sounds
Yeah.
right. But I think it's coming back. It was gone for a while. The comics still remained.
Yeah.
But I think they're bringing the show back.
Well, even Beavis and Butthead's coming back, so.
Yes. He played Warren Buffett, close to our hearts here in Omaha. Too Big to Fail, HBO movie in 2011.
No kidding?
Yeah.
Wow.
How about this one? He plays Johnny Lawrence's stepdad in Cobra Kai, 2018 episode.
That's right. He was in a few episodes.
Yeah.
And he's an asshole.
Yeah. Well, how do you think Johnny Lawrence gets the way he does?
Yeah, true.
That's how it works. Oh, I found it. He's in 9 different Christmas movies.
As
Actual
Santa?
movies. Santa in 5 of them. Then he does TV shows and episodes. He's in all sorts of Christmas. He's just like all over Christmas. He's Mr. Christmas, right?
Why not?
Here's some cartoons that I didn't know about, but I thought they were hilarious names, so I wrote them down.
Okay.
He's the captain of the Fish Police.
What?
1992 cartoon. He was Chief Abalone. And then he was a guy named Mort Seidman in a show called Duckman, which I don't think went very well, but maybe it did. I don't know.
Duckman?
Yeah,
What did
so
the
it's-
duck man look like?
I'm picturing...
Like a duck face?
Not
Yeah.
Darkwing
Or a
Duck?
duck
No, not
body.
that. It's just Duckman.
Duckman.
Yeah. He was in one of my favorite X-Files episodes of all time. The Christmas episode. Do you remember that? It had 3 different... He was like the ghost of Christmas past.
No.
Episode was called How the Ghost Stole Christmas. And then we were talking about him earlier, he plays Mark Maron's dad on the show Maron in an unaired pilot. So it must not have screen tested well because they went with Judd Hirsch after that, but he was there. And then he's in this classic, all-time classic Christmas movie, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2.
They
Cousin
didn't make-
Eddie's Island Adventure. It was a straight TV
What?
movie. You've never seen this?
No.
It came out in 2003.
This isn't real life.
He plays Uncle Nick. Oh, it's real life. Yes, it's real terrible too. But he's in that. He continues to be in shows, episodes of stuff like this year. So he's what, 92?
Well, Cobra Kai, right? I mean, that was, yeah.
He's 92. He's still acting.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm surprised there wasn't a Simpson on there.
He was in The Simpsons.
Oh.
He was
Oh,
in
yeah.
basically everything.
I vaguely remember him in Futurama. It was just his head, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in the
In the
jars.
jar.
Jar.
The reason I remember him was there was a movie in 1976. It was a Disney movie, and it was called Gus. And Gus was a mule from Czechoslovakia that could kick a ball really good. And they bring him over to the United States, and he ends up being a kicker on an NFL team, and that team wins the Super Bowl.
So like before Air Bud.
Yeah. And he's in that. He's the coach of the football team. Also in the movie is Tim Conway and Don Knotts. Dick Butkus is in this movie. It's Dick Van Patten is in this movie.
Of course.
It's a really bad movie, but when you're 6 years old, it's pretty awesome, and my son likes it too. So
that's an all-star cast though from the 70s.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's got one of the best grocery store scenes ever. They just destroy this grocery store. The guy from Happy Days, the dad, remember him?
Yeah.
He's a bumbling criminal matched up with Tim Conway, who also is a bumbling criminal, and they're trying to steal this mule away so that the guys that hired him will, because he owns another NFL team. And they have this big bet about who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Of course.
So that's what I know about Ed Asner. Now, there's one negative thing I could find about him.
Okay.
He's a believer / proponent of the 9/11 conspiracy, that it was an inside job. But you know what? He was in his 80s by then. I'm going to let that one slide.
Yeah.
He's done more good than harm, as far as I can tell. He has a kid, and then also now a grandkid with autism. So he's a big autism awareness person and does a lot of fundraising for them. So that's what I got for Ed Asner.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I would never have thought we'd go down the Ed Asner route.
That's how my brain works.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Laura, what kind of is this a normal beer that you would drink? Like how? Give us an idea of like what you would normally drink.
So I am actually pretty adventurous. Usually, I do like the ambers. Just kind of depends on where they. I don't know. Sometimes some of them they don't look appealing, but yeah, I do like the ambers. I also like sours. I like wheats. I do like the coffee stouts.
Boom.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
It's
Right.
like one of my favorite areas of beer, I guess.
Yeah.
I really like, I don't know. I like pretty much everything. But.
So if you were to be, let's say you go out, you go on a road trip or whatever with your husband, kids, whatever. Would you go to breweries? Like, is that something he wants to do and that you would go along?
Yeah, so since we've had our kids, it's kind of died down a lot, but we were brewer advocates, I guess you could say. We went all the time. We kind of started, let's see, we've been together for 5 years, so 2 years into our relationship, we just went to all the breweries around town. We've probably been to most of them, especially within we live in Bellevue, so within a good range of those. And then we would do marketing campaigns on the weekend and then for his clinic. And usually we'd go to a brewery after that to
As a reward.
Yeah.
Right.
hang
Get
out.
thirsty.
Yep, especially we get the Bloody Marys at Scriptown
Yeah.
on Sundays, and then you'd get a sidecar. So that was kind of our Sunday routine.
Right.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so TripAdvisor says, and this is probably the most we've seen reviews since I've started doing the TripAdvisor piece on here, 829 reviews.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. 4.5.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, pretty high. They've got some good food there too. Like their food's pretty legit. I would go there for the beer though. That's my thing. So, yeah. Untapped. Where do you think Brian? You checked this in
You said it was like 7 years ago or so.
on January 11th, 2014, and your comment was simply, "Thanks, Mitch."
Oh, that's my Kansas City beer connection. My buddy Mitch.
So your buddy Mitch got you, and you gave it a 3.5 back then.
That's yeah.
So where do you think we land out of 17,000 reviews?
I'm gonna say it's 3.68.
I'm going 372.
Laura, what do you think?
Is it best out of 5?
Out of 5.
I'd say 3.5. 3.5.
3.5, 2.
Oh,
Almost.
That was close.
We've never had a guest get that close
No.
before, though. Oh, that's
That was-
pretty
that was good.
legit. But yeah, 3.5. I think you're right on. I had 3.75. You can drink this all day.
I want a big one. I want a big 22 ounce or maybe the 45 ounce with two
Do they
handles.
do they do
like big
Yeah.
mugs. I've only had pints there.
or like the can? I can't remember what those are called. The cans
Oh,
or
like
the
a
Crowler.
crowler.
Oh,
or something.
crowlers.
I don't know. Do
they?
I think they do crowlers there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do them on site. What's the ABV on this? I guess I didn't even.
I would guess it's 5.6.
Let's look on the Untapped and see.
I have to
Okay.
say the label is there.
They have that
Busy.
art all throughout the brewery there. Yeah, that's very.
It kind of. So we went to a brewery in Iowa City, and they kind of have this kind of crazy art.
Same sort of stuff. What'd you say? What do you think it
I
is?
said 5.6.
5.6. That's what it is.
Right on the money.
Yeah.
It's actually listed as a red ale / American amber. So I could see that either way.
Yeah.
So
That was good.
I liked it. Laura, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming in with us too and sitting down.
not a
and-
problem.
Thanks for bringing the beer. Yeah.
Anytime you want to bring us beers, that's totally fine with us.
Yeah.
So.
I got wine too.
She's pushing that wine. She got more of that.
Come on, we gotta drink this.
It's all foreign too. So.
Hey, whatever. Look, we'll drink anything here. So,
That's true.
all right, fellas, we're not going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another beer.
Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.